Didn't want y'all to miss that, apparently. Despair. Get some magic resistance on you. Cool. Now let's get my party back. And I'm betting Anders. Oh, not quite at a level up. He's close though, right? Yeah, darn close. Do I have... wait. I meant to check my journal. Do I have any... Bone Pit? Gotta go to Fenris. And Sebastian. Cool.
If Althena won't leave Kirkwall, neither will I. I can't abandon her when the Divine's own agent warned her away.
How much damage could a few dozen angry mages do anyway?
That's the problem, isn't it? Far more than I ever could. But if these Maleficarum rebel against the Knight Commander, Althena will put herself between them and be torn apart. I must try to make her see reason. This cannot end well.
Another thing for Sebastian.
I'm giving it all up. I made a vow to the Chantry, and it was wrong to turn my back.
Sebastian, listen to yourself. You're as impulsive now as the day you turned away from us. Do you think the Maker wants another rashly spoken vow that you'll abandon when the next passion takes you?
I will not...
This is your life, child. Don't spend it being blown about like a weather vane. But here's Hawke. Maybe you can talk some sense into him.
I don't think sense is really my strong suit.
How long has she spent telling me to return to the Chantry, and now that I want to, she won't take me? It was wrong for me to break my oath to the Chantry. I've turned against the Maker. And for what? Why would I want to rule Starkhaven and deal with jackals like Lady Harriman for the rest of my life?
Do you see yourself as a prince or a priest?
That's exactly the question I've been praying for guidance about. When I think of going to Starkhaven, calling on allies like Flora Harriman and all the corrupt, scheming nobles, my throat swells shut in horror. When I think about staying, I'm at peace.
If you give it up, what then?
I suppose I must convince Althena my commitment is sincere. Then I will remain here, to represent the Maker's interests as she thinks best.
You should ask what's best for your people, not just for you.
I do not have hubris enough to imagine it matters to the common people who rules them. Kirkwall does well enough with no one in the Viscount's seat. Someone will take the reins. The fields will be planted, the crops gathered. No one will notice that a Vale lives and isn't there, and I can devote my life to the Maker's will on Thedas.
You're wise to stay here. No one trusts a man who breaks his oath.
I cannot return to Starkhaven and subject my people to war without a clear sign that it's the Maker's will.
I guess you got me there. Another new quest for Sebastian.
Hawke should do it. Kirkwall needs a Viscount.
Have you asked her if she even wants that?
I watched my parents in Starkhaven. When times are good, the city rules itself. Years could pass and no one would notice who's prince. But when there's famine, when there's war, people look to their leaders. Who does Kirkwall have beyond Hawke?
This is probably a conversation for the two of you to have.
That was weird to see
You want
Evelyn
me to be Viscount?
in her normal clothes again.
Andraste said the Maker is king in the heavens, but it is the kings of Thedas who must recreate his worldly glory. I keep thinking about that. Who better serves the Maker? A brother of the faith, or a prince who can sway a whole city?
You'll never know what the right choice is. Might as well just make one.
Althena is risking her life by not deserting her flock. Could I do the same? It's been 15 years since I lived in Starkhaven. The people there are only a memory to me. Kirkwall, the Chantry, that's real. That's where I belong.
Great. Now that that's out of the way, let's get a drink.
Sorry to burden you with my doubts, but I do appreciate you hearing me out. You've been a good friend, Hawke. I will stay, as much for you as for her grace.
Neat. I could be Viscount, though.
I will try to convince her until things settle down.
I could be Viscount, though. That would be cool. We gotta pop over and see Fen. Hey, buddy. You're gonna be mad at me.
Last bottle of the Egregio. I've been saving it for a special occasion.
And what's that?
The anniversary of my escape. Astia Vala Firmundis. Care to hear the story?
Sure.
I thought you avoided talking about this.
Not on special occasions.
Go ahead. Get it out of your system.
Let's see. You've heard of Saharan? The Imperium and the Qunari have fought over the island for centuries now. I was there with Daenerys during a Qunari attack. I managed to get him to a ship, but there was no room for a slave. I was left behind. I barely got out of the city alive.
There's nothing like war for covering one's escape.
I had no intention of escaping. That time. There are rebels in the Saharan jungles called Fog Warriors. They found me and took me in, nursed me back to health. I stayed with them for a time, until Daenerys finally came for me.
He was relieved to see you'd survived, right?
Relieved to see his investment hadn't ended up in Qunari hands, perhaps. I'd grown fond of the rebels. They bowed to no master and fought for their freedom. It was beyond my experience. When Daenerys came, they refused to let him take me. He ordered me to kill them. So I did. I killed them all.
Once a slave, always a slave.
It felt inevitable. My master had returned and this fantasy life was over. But once it was done, I looked down at their bodies. I felt I couldn't. I ran and never looked back.
How well did you know these Fog Warriors?
I knew them only a few months, but in that time, I felt as if I truly lived. They were bold, strong, free with their affections. I was in awe of them and owed them everything. And I turned on them even so.
Didn't Daenerys stop you?
The rebels had wounded him. The soldiers he brought attempted to capture me, unsuccessfully. It was weeks before Daenerys was able to mount the hunt in earnest, but by then, I was already gone.
Couldn't you have found other Fog Warriors? Become a rebel?
Even if I did, I felt unworthy. I had no way of knowing if I could truly escape from Daenerys then. I didn't even know what that meant. I simply had to get away. I stowed aboard a ship to the mainland and moved south, chased by my former master every step of the way.
I have to wonder why you stayed with Daenerys as long as you did.
You have not been a slave.
That's true.
A slave does not dream of freedom or wonder at possibilities. You think only of your master's desires and what the next hour will bring. It did not occur to me that I could be anything else until I had a taste of it.
But there are stories of slaves rebelling all the time. They did in Kirkwall.
The ritual that gave me my markings also stripped me of my memory. Whatever I was before may as well have never been. Perhaps if I knew, I might have felt differently.
This can't be easy to talk about.
I've never spoken about what happened to anyone. I've never wanted to. You and I don't always agree, but...
Too much wine will make anyone chatty.
let's just say you've earned my respect. A last toast, then. To the fallen.
Thanks, Fenris. That was a good story.
Hawk.
He's still big mad at me, though, I think. Right? Yeah. And he's not sure. Meryl is my friend. And somehow Sebastian is my friend. I'm still not sure about that one. How that one happened. I had another quest to do. Varric Anders. Let's go to the gallows for some reason. Why am I going to the gallows again? It's for on the loose, but I don't remember what that means. Oh, yes I do. I remember this now. Cool.
You aren't dead. All mages are weak.
True. Bethany, for instance, was not weak.
You specifically don't mention me.
That's also true.
I'll prove to you that I'm not weak.
Prove it to yourself. You're convincing no one else.
That's fair. Actually, you know what? Buy my junk. Sir Thrask.
Since she stepped into the Viscount's shoes.
Champion, it seems you've become less a friend to the Templars in the years since your ascent. But surely you can see the Knight Commander directly now, should you wish. What would you have of me?
If it comes to war with the mages, whose side do you think the Grand Cleric will take?
She is bound by faith and duty to support the Templars. We have dominance over mages by divine right. But it is cruel how she leads them on, letting them think they might have a chance at rebellion.
Everyone says the Knight Commander's gone crazy. Are you still behind her?
The people ask too much of her. She needs a spine of iron to survive her position. I have seen madness before. I saw Uldred's eyes when there was nothing human left in them. The Knight Commander. She is not there yet, but I do not have to ask where the rumors come from.
I just wanted to see how an old friend is doing in this difficult time.
After what happened in Ferelden, I told myself I would never again question the purpose of the Order. But it grows harder each day to tell whether I'm serving the Templars or only the Knight Commander. It may be that they are no longer one and the same.
Hey, Soul.
Welcome back, my friend. My store has never been better stocked, thanks to you. Although I have nothing else to ask you to find, you're quite welcome to bring back any rare specimens you may come across. I'd be more than happy to craft something just for you. It's the least I can do for the champion of Kirkwall.
Sounds good. I'll see if I can find anything. Huh. Give me these. Give me all of these. I need them. And give me a lot of these too. 7.
So good to see you, champion.
Cool. Let's go in and see Meredith. Let's do it next time.